to another episode of The Life. As you can see, it's my day. Hassani is not here with me. And we didn't change the set today, but it's okay because it's just one of those kinds of days. We are continuing in our book that we're reading. It's called We, A Manifesto for Women Everywhere. And I'm really loving this book. It's talking about the 9 principles that we need to follow so that we can unearth all of the issues and drama we have going on in our life. You know, it's not the external things that we're experiencing that are hindering us. It's really what's happening internal that are expressing themselves on the outside and attracting to us all kinds of mess. Now, I know what you're saying. You're probably thinking, oh, she's being so deep. She sounds metaphysical. Well, listen, guys, listen. The universe was created by God, okay? And he put all these principles in place. I did not write the books, and I did not write the rules. But we must abide by them, don't we? If you jump off of the roof, guess where you're going? Not up, down. I didn't create that rule, but I certainly do my best to abide by it. And there are so many rules, universal laws, and principles that we just haven't been taught. It's unfortunate that we spend so much time in school learning this and learning that, and we have never learned, in school anyway, our connection to the universal laws that God has created for us. It blows my mind. And I've been on this journey just learning and asking questions and discovering for a while, not a long time. I'm no scholar by far, but I know enough to know when it's time for me to get on a journey to start digging out some stuff. Because guess what? It's just that. It's a journey. And you may be at a place in life where you are smooth sailing and you've dealt with your gunk, and then 6 months from now, something happens, something is said, something you've experienced really spins you in a different direction. And suddenly you start experiencing external circumstances. And you're like, why is this happening to me? I was just fine. Everything was going swell. Have you ever noticed the cycles of life? Do you pay attention? Do you pay attention that every year at this particular time of year you go through the same thing? Have you observed the cycles in your life? And if you have observed the cycles in your life, what are you willing to do to change those things? And that's why V-Life is here. I'm really on a journey of my own. And I said, you know what? I know there are other women out there that feel like I do, that feel like we are victims of some things that we have no idea what they are. We don't know what they are, but there's something not right. There's some emotions that are going on. I'm unhappy in this area. I may be happy in this area. Things might be going well, but for some reason, this area, there's a block, and I just can't break through. I know I'm not the only one. And so V-Life is here to help us. Guys, last week, we talked about masks. And for me, that was very powerful because I shared with you last week how I unearthed my own mask as a younger person. Some of them, not all of them, right? But a couple of them, I unmasked. Oh, look, I'm wearing white today. I'm totally free of the subconscious burden that I am not able to wear white. See that? I didn't even think about that until just now. But the fact is, guys, is that these masks that we're wearing cover up who we really are. We really are so beautiful. Internal, and our internal beauty is supposed to come out and express itself physically. We're so caught up in physical, actual beauty. It's ridiculous when the real beauty, the real gems are in here. Have you ever met a woman that is strikingly beautiful, but has the worst, horrible, terrible personality that you can't stand around for 10 seconds without cringing? Have you ever met a person like that? Or maybe you've met somebody that maybe isn't so attractive to you, but has a beautiful personality, their spirit, everything about them, you just love being around them. So your gems and your treasures are inside. So today's topic, we are talking about acceptance, which is coming to terms with the things that you can't change, and instead focusing on the things that you can. Now, guys, I've had an interesting day today. It's been one of those days that I had to just accept. But I've been thinking about you, making my notes, been thinking about you all day. And I just want you to watch this clip because it's really giving you a kind of a bird's eye view into what kind of day I had. Check this out.
Here's Wendy!
Look. Thank you for watching our show today. There was almost no show. Say hello to my co-host, my very understanding studio audience. How you doing? A freaking mess. Help us through. Let's get started. It's time for Hot Topics. You want to know what regular Wendy looks like with no makeup and her street clothes and the street wig? And this is how I roll. This is it. And it wasn't intentional. That traffic was... Excuse me, President Trump. Help! Help! The traffic was backed up to my mailbox in Jersey. That's how bad traffic was today. Now, you all need to get it together out there. They say men at work, but there's no men working, but you're blocking lanes. People are driving like idiots. People are running out of gas. Honey, we left the house at 6:30 in the morning. Our house is only 15 miles from this exact studio. Lady up there in the red, you saw me walk in 20 minutes ago, right? I saw me, and you were like, there she goes. And I walked in just like this, correct? Because I had to choose. Am I going to put on a dress and all that makeup and a show wig, or am I going to eat, to live? And try. So I had my breakfast and tried to get into my Wendy mode to come out here and entertain you. We're live, you all. You don't understand. I've never... Suzanne...
We were worried.
Well... And if you like my outfit, everything is like under nothing. American Apparel, my Walgreens leggings, you know what? Honey, I tell you, and a pair of All-Stars with my Wendy coat from HSN. Yeah. And that's how I roll. And the boy is in the car, and it took us 3 hours, and they have off from school today, and he's laughing at me and his father because, you know, we're on the phone cursing people out, and we're in the traffic cursing people out, and I'm in the passenger seat now crying out of stress, like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
Oh my God. I really love that clip. I just stumbled across it and I'm like, perfect timing! Because that's exactly the kind of day that I had. I really had a day that just went so fast. The work kept coming. You know, I wasn't 100% happy with some of the support I was getting from my team. We had that kind of conversation. Also, my daughter's 13th birthday is this weekend, and I'm running around after work, and I'm taking care of her, and all these things. And honestly, it started yesterday. The chaos started yesterday where we were out and about, and there was no report of a storm. But it came down like cats and dogs, and me and my 12-year-old daughter were trapped in the rain, and then today the saga continued, and I was just like, oh my God. I don't know if I have any more in me. I was so exhausted. And I said, you know what, I'm so behind the scene, behind the game today. But I knew that I wanted to show up for you guys today. And so that's why I'm here. And I just accepted. I accepted the fact that there are some things that I can't change. There are some things that you cannot control. And so that's what we're talking about. We're talking about accepting the things that you cannot control and making peace with them and releasing them. And then being about your business when it comes to the things that you can control. And here's something interesting that I've observed is that depending on the type of person that you are, your level or your ability to accept things varies, and you deal with different challenges. For example, if you are a controlling nature type of person, that's not a bad thing. That means you're a leader, right? But you like to have control. You're the person that rises up as a leader. You're the one that gets it done. People rely on you. When it comes to accepting the things that we cannot change in our life or surrounding our life, you have a struggle. The struggle is that you're losing control. You lose control because you're a controller. But by you accepting the fact that you can't change this person or that circumstance, you lose control. And that might be a struggle for you. And on the opposite spectrum of that, if you are more of a passive person, a people pleaser, you might even consider yourself a pushover. I'm always letting people take advantage of me. I'm always empathizing with someone. If you're that kind of a person, which we need those kinds of people. Those are the nurturers of the world. Those are the ones that make sure that people are taken care of and they feel well. None of these things are bad unless they're way over on the other side, if they're extremes, right? You always want to have balance in anything. But if you are a people pleaser type of person, you're going to have trouble accepting the fact that not everybody has your best interest at heart. You're going to have to accept the fact that what you do is you make excuses for people and their behavior so that you can accommodate your own behavior of people pleasing. And it's like you've got to draw the line and say, heck no, no more of this. There are just some things in life, guys, that we can't change. And I am working on some of that with myself. People in my life that I love dearly that, they're not present. I'm talking about my father. Let's just be real with it. He's not there. And it's so funny because when I get together with my father, we're having a good time. We have peace and all of that. But there's something going on where he doesn't want to be a part of my world. There's no hate, there's no anger, there's none of that. But he doesn't feel comfortable being a part of my world. Who knows what that is? That's his journey, right? Whatever he's dealing with, that's his journey. That's something that I can't control. But what I can control is being loving, having compassion, and having empathy. Because here's the thing that we know, guys, is that everybody has their own journey. We're someplace on ours, and the story is not complete. We have not completely written our story, right? And hindsight is 20/20. So there is a time, and I mean, I'm a woman of a certain age. I'm 40 years old, okay? So, I mean, to a certain extent, I can look back on things and say, oh, man, I would have done this, or, ooh, I learned from that experience. But the point is that you haven't scripted out your full story yet. You're still here. Your story is still going. And so for who are we to sit in a place of judgment? 9 times out of 10, you don't know the other person's whole story. You don't know what their journey was that brought them to their lowest point, that caused them to behave this way or the other way. Well, the only thing that you can control in that situation or in any situation is your reaction. Because here's the hardcore truth, folks. Your reaction and how you handle situations affects you. Physically, metaphysically, spiritually, and emotionally. There's a book called You Can Heal Your Life. I'm always talking about this book because it's true. It's by Louise Hay. Get it if you're suffering from anything that, any kind of ailment or mental or any kind of issue. I'll tell you the story real quick. I was dealing with back pain. It was breaking back pain. My husband had to pull me out of bed for me to get out of my bed. When I would sit down, the only way I can explain it is like strumming a guitar. You know how when you strum a guitar, it vibrates and it's like, well, I had no strength to control how I would sit down. I would just flop down. And I didn't know if that pain was going to hit me in my back and my lower back. It was excruciating. I did everything. I went to the chiropractor. I had electric therapy. I got those extension tables that have you hanging upside down. I did chiropractic. I did it all. I went to the doctor. They gave me medicine. They gave me steroids. They gave me a very, very strong medication to remove the pain. And they told me there's no hope for your back. Your back is done. You need to go and have surgery. You have lost all the cartilage in there, and you have to have a surgery to have that sponge placed back in your back. And I said, not on my watch. Now, this is not medical advice. I'm just telling you my experience. I said, not on my watch. And every time I had the pain, I would say, this too shall pass. Oh, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. And it wasn't passing. But I came across a book, and it was called You Can Heal Your Life. And I said, let me check this out, and let me see if there's anything in there about, my back. And lo and behold, it was the mantra that I was speaking. Literally, it was the mantra that I had been speaking all along. I just don't have enough support. I don't have enough support. I'm doing this all by myself. I'm in this all alone. I was constantly talking about I'm not having enough support, whatever it was, around the house, in my business, with my team, like whatever it was, I felt unsupported. And literally, that's what it was talking about. So, to make a long story short, I went through some processes. I changed my language. I changed my mindset. And one day I woke up and that pain was gone. Gone. I didn't have a surgery. There's no residue of it whatsoever. Now, I'm giving you the short version of what you really need to go and find out for yourself in that book, Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. But I'm just saying that to say there are certain things that you have to accept, and then there are certain things that you have complete control over. Your mindset is one of them. Things that you can't control. Bad traffic. Like that Wendy Williams clip. She couldn't control that she was in the bad traffic. It was whatever going on in New York. She was stuck, but she had to get to work, to a live show. People were waiting on her. She needed to get hair done, makeup done, outfit, the whole thing. And she was freaking out in that car. She said in the clip she was cussing people out, hollering. Her son was ashamed. Her husband was screaming and hollering. They were breaking the law. They disobeyed the police. They did all this crazy stuff. And guess what? At the end of the day, it was all right. See, because what we do, guys, is that we allow our minds to go places unnecessarily. We create these phantom scenarios, the worst case scenario. That's what we do. We create phantom worst case scenarios. Oh my God, this is going wrong. If I don't do this, all hell's going to break loose. And we believe that, and we tell ourselves that story, and we react accordingly. You can control that. You can't control being stuck in traffic, but you can control how you handle it. You can control the crazy phantom stories that you tell yourself. You can control overreacting and cussing people out and running a red light, because behaving in all these crazy ways could actually bring on another crisis. You can't control an AC blowing out in the middle of the summer, right? You can't control that. You can't control, an absent father. Who has control over that? You can't control that your father wasn't there for you. You can't control that maybe you had an alcoholic mom who didn't have the capacity to be a nurturer in your life, and that you may have had to do things on your own. You can't control that. You can't control a death. You can't stop that. You can't undo that. The only thing that you have control of is you. And so you have to decide to accept the things that you cannot control and change the things that you can. There's a really cool story that I heard about years ago. And it was about a man who was, I think he was kidnapped back in the Hitler days, I believe. But he was in a camp and he was being tortured. And he had gotten captured. I think he was a prisoner of war, something like that. And he was being tortured. Day in, day out, he was being tortured. It was some of the most excruciating things that he couldn't explain what they were doing to him, but I'm sure you can imagine if you're captured and somebody isn't giving you anesthesia and they're cutting pieces off of you and they're sticking things in you and they're doing this and they're doing that, peeling your skin, testing this, testing that with no anesthesia. A prisoner. And for all intents and purposes, in common sense, would tell you that this man was going to die this way. And so the story would play out in his mind that I'm going to die this way. But he turned his story around because he couldn't change the fact that he was a prisoner. He was a prisoner. There was no escaping. There was no one to call. There was nowhere to go. The only thing at that moment that he had control over was his mind. And what he began to do is during his torture sessions, he began to go another place in his mind. And he began to see himself past this season in his life and teaching in a university and telling this story and teaching his testimony to people. And doggone it, the reason why I'm telling you the story is because that man somehow got out and became a professor in a university and was telling that story. There's another story that I literally just heard the other day. I don't know if it was Dame Dash or somebody that he was with. You know Damien Dash. And he was talking about, one of the guys was talking about how he was shot. Like he was somewhere and he was shot a bunch of times. And he hit the pavement and he was bleeding out and he started dying. He was dying. I mean, your body only has a certain amount of blood. Eventually, you're going to bleed out. But he started changing the story in his mind. He actually considered the fact that what if I lived? He started seeing himself making it through this situation, surviving. And in that instant, his breath started to come back. His energy started to come back. And he was able to get out of that situation, and he survived. But let me continue. This story blows my mind about how powerful our minds are and the stories that we tell ourselves are. There was another story of someone who broke into a freezer trailer car. Like, if you live in a town where there's trains that go by and you see those train cars. Well, somebody broke into like a cooler case one. And he goes in there. I don't know what he was doing. Maybe he thought he was going to steal something or whatever. And he got locked in. Well, this dude was writing on the wall, "I'm freezing to death." He scribbled on the wall, "I've been here an hour, I've been here 2 hours, I've been here 3 hours." He literally scribbled his death into the wall so that the person that found him could see what was going on in his mindset. Literally, this dude felt like he was freezing to death, and he was there overnight. But what they found out was that he didn't freeze to death. As a matter of fact, the cooler car was turned off, and the temperature only dropped to like 70 to 70 something degrees that evening. He didn't freeze to death, but he convinced himself that he had frozen to death, and this guy died from freezing to death. People, that's what the placebo is all about. Have you heard of the placebo effect? It's when you are convinced, basically they'll do a test where they'll give somebody some real medicine, and then they'll give you a water pill or a sugar pill or something like that that has nothing in it, and watch the effects and see if there's really a difference. And people who are taking the placebo a lot of times have phantom symptoms that they shouldn't have had, because that's how powerful our minds are. There are a lot of things that we cannot change, guys. Physical things, experiences that we've had, stuff that people have said to us, deaths in our lives. But we can change the banter in our head. We can release ourselves of guilt. We can release ourselves of, the anger and the frustration and all of that comes along with it. We can accept the things that we cannot change and make peace with those things so that they're not harbored in our hearts and turning into physical manifestations of all kinds of illness. Depression isn't the only illness that our emotions can bring upon us. It literally brings on physical sickness. Depression hurts. Who's ever had a broken heart? Has anybody ever had a broken heart? It hurts. You weren't cut. You weren't stabbed. There's no broken pain, but it hurts, doesn't it? And those same effects, when we harbor emotional issues and things like that, affect our body. So I want to share with you an activity of acceptance. And this is something that I'm working through. I share with you a little bit about my father's stuff. I love my father to death, to life. I don't love anybody to death. I love my father to life. I do realize that he has an issue where he can't connect. I don't know what it is, but I have to make peace with that, and I have to accept that. And, when I see my dad, I have a good relationship with him. It's not like we have any problems. But how nice would it be if we had a more fulfilled relationship? It'd be great. I think about that sometimes. But what can I do about it? I can only accept. And I can only do my best. I can have a heart full of love, acceptance, forgiveness, and all of that. And so here's what you're going to do, guys. This is exciting. Oh my gosh, I have all these people chatting. Hey, Lisa. Hey. Hey, Tanya. Hey, Angela. Hey, Crystal. Yes, it hurts for a long. Hey, Jaila, it hurts for a long time. I just want to acknowledge you guys for joining me and hearing me out. Thank you, guys. So here's the activity that you're going to do, and I didn't have a chance to put a worksheet up for you because I had a Wendy Williams date today, but I'm here anyway, and I've accepted the fact that there wasn't nothing I could do about that, okay? But what we're going to do is we're going to do this activity. Here's what you're going to do. You are going to get by yourself. Everything starts with getting by yourself, doesn't it? For us women, like, I don't even want to tell you what making dinner was like today. Oh my God. But you're going to get by yourself, and that might not be easy for you to do in your situation. Sometimes you got to get out of the house. Sometimes there's really no quiet place for you to be. Sometimes the kids are going to find you, the dog is going to find you, and you just need to leave. That is sometimes what it is. I have a good friend her sacred place is her car. I get that. The car has been my sacred place on many occasions. The car is an awesome sacred place. That's where I put my audio tapes in and everything like that. Sing and holler and pray and everything like that. Cry too. People driving by you, looking at you, they don't know what's going on, but that's okay because they'll never see you again. That is your sacred place. Or sometimes you need to maybe go to a hotel, a nearby Holiday Inn or something like that where all the people are working in the day. And there's nobody there, and you can find a nice little corner in there and get by yourself. Whatever the place. Go to the library. There's always a corner in the library where there's never anybody. There's a chair there. People don't walk by that corner. Who knows the last time it's been vacuumed, but that's okay. It's going to be your safe place. You're going to find that place, and you're going to get really quiet. And you're going to take a big breath in and just fall into whatever seat you're in. If it's a bed, you're going to just fall into the bed. There's nothing anybody's expecting from you. Nobody needs anything from you. It's your time to be alone, all one, alone with yourself, all one. And you're going to be in a place of gratitude. You're going to acknowledge the blessing of this time, this sacred time of peace alone. You're going to even acknowledge the things that maybe aren't going so well. And you're going to be like, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. And then you're going to allow the things, the issues, the hurts, the pains, the stuff that if you would allow it to affect you, like if you would actually allow some stuff to affect you, you're going to allow those thoughts to come up in your mind. Because you know what we do. We just keep it moving. We know how to keep it moving. But you're not going to keep it moving. You're going to allow everything that if you sat there and thought about it for 5 minutes, yep, that hurt me. Yes, my feelings are hurt. Yeah, I'm sad about that. Yep, I wish that I could change that. Oh, I regret that. You're going to think about all those things, and you're going to write them down. Every single situation. I regret what I said to my sister. I wish we didn't have that disagreement. Oh, man, if I could go back, I would have. Write it down. Write them all down. And however long your list is, your list could be 5 things. Your list could be 25 things. But keep writing until you have a sense of completion, that you feel like you have unearthed as much as you can at this moment, because things unearth in layers. You're not ready for everything. So write down everything, and then you're going to go back and you're going to review your list, and everything that you cannot change, you are going to write an A for accept. So-and-so's dead. I wish they wouldn't died. I didn't get a chance to say what I wanted to say. I didn't get to apologize. I didn't get to give them a last kiss. You're going to write an A because you can't change that. You must accept that and make peace with that and forgive that and release that. And then, I done got ahead of myself. See, girls, because I need to go write my list right now. Okay? And then the things that you can change. You're going to write C for change. I've gained 10 pounds. I didn't get to the gym today. Or, I really need to apologize for that behavior. You're going to write those things down. You're going to put it C. For every, I lost income. I need to make more money. C. So all the things that you can change, you're going to write a C. And everything that you cannot change, you're going to write an A. And you're going to separate that list, the change list and the accept list. And you're going to go through that list, and you are going to literally meditate on those things and you say it out loud, write it, whatever makes sense for you, because some people are journalers, some people need to release things with words. One thing that I love to do, and one day I'm going to do this on here, is get a little flint paper and write the thing on it. and then burn it and just release it. Like, I'm letting it go. I release this. I can't change this person. I can't change the situation, but I release them. I love them. I honor them. And I'm going to focus on the things that I can change. And that's going to be your activity, guys. You're going to spend the next 7 days until we get to the next V Life working on that. Find a day. Our lives are so hectic. We're so busy. But guys, gals. I say guys because I have 3 brothers. I know you're not guys, but just bear with me. I'm a work in progress. But we spend so much time working on other people, fixing everybody, right? I mean, everybody needs us. We are freaking awesome. Women are so awesome. We make the world go round. This is no diss or disrespect to men. I love my man. And we couldn't make babies without him, that's for sure, right? Listen, but you know the value that you bring to your community, to your family, to your job. It's time for you to bring value to yourself. And this is your time. This is your time to find out what's going on with you and to release some things that have been harbored and burdening you. All right, so that's going to be this week's activity. I want to know, somebody say something in my chat. I'm going to look right now. I want you guys to say, I'm in, if you are going to practice this week or the rest of this week and into next week, because this is a midweek show. All right, let me know, because I'm doing this, and I don't want to be doing this by myself. And you know, next week, I'm going to come to you, because I didn't have anything to tell you. I haven't done this practice yet. I'm going to do it this week. Last week, I told you what I unmasked. I want to know what you're unmasking. I want to know what you're accepting and what you're changing. Right now, I have a group of sisters. They are my sisters. They have been my sisters since I was a child that I'm going through a transition with. I'm working on my health, my body, my mind, my heart. Y'all get on your game because you have this one life. You have this one life. All right, so that's that. I just want to talk to you real quick about some upcoming things. This is Inner Light Magazine. They're doing their first annual Leading Ladies Conference and Award Lunch-In, okay? It's October 14th, 2017, but this is a save the date. So they're asking you guys to save the date. It's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia, at the Cobb Galleria. It's called Transformed, and I will be the MC. So if you guys like hearing me babble, you're really going to want to be there and support and honor all these wonderful women who are being honored for what they contribute in the world. So that's it for this episode of V Life. I'm so glad you joined me. I really do appreciate you guys. I mean, I really love all of you. Like, I know pretty much all of you on there, and I love you guys, and I really appreciate you for being here with me, and I'll see you next week.
I just want to live my life, 'cause I want to, and I need to. So don't be trying to steal my